Hey, so this is completely unusual for me to do. I mean, unless you've listened to the podcast me and Dak did last year, but I'm going to do a off-the-cuff talkie video. Crazy, right? Think of this as less of a rant, more of a podcast where I talk to myself like a psychopath. The purpose of this video is to showcase my thoughts and feelings towards the uptick in AI-generated content, specifically in my personal creative field of mod making. As a creator myself, I have, a bit of a voice, but some of my friends and colleagues don't have a platform like I do. I want to preface that this is an open discussion. Feel free to have civil and thoughtful discourse in the comments about this topic. Let's start out by going over AI content and what it brings to the table. First of all, AI content is much faster and easier to produce. With the quality of the end product being questionable, I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man telling you that hard work builds character, but, well, maybe I'll get into the downsides a little bit later. Another thing AI-generated content does is vastly lower the barrier of entry into this field, which is cool. My tutorials were an attempt to get more people interested in mod making, so to see people coming in is super interesting to see. Last thing I think of is that it's good at replicating base game voices that you can't get the access to the actual actors to record new lines for, which is interesting, but it brings up the question, do you have permission from those actors to use their voice? That's all the positive I can think of. As you can see, by it only being about 1 minute 20 seconds into the video, I still have a lot to cover. Let's start off with the two big professional VAs that made their stance known lately about AI, and why I agree with them. Courtney Taylor, well known for voicing the female protagonist in both Fallout 4 and Mass Effect, who is part of an anti-AI awareness group trying to prevent actors from getting in predatory contracts with companies that steal their voice, and the other being Paul Eading, who voiced the Vault-Tec rep Arlen Glass and literally all the old men in Fallout 3, including Abraham Washington, and the role he might be best known for, Colonel Campbell in the Metal Gear franchise. Most people already know about Taylor's public tweet asking for Nexus to remove mods with her voice in it, but I'd like to talk more about Eading's tweet. It reads, "If you do not have written permission to use my voice, you do not have permission to use my voice, including AI use. Doing so is a violation of my legal rights and a real slap in the face." And that is one of the main problems with AI-generated content. People using other people's voices, or art, or whatever, without their consent. Personally, if I woke up one day and someone had taken my voice and generated a bunch of things I would never say, or never said, I'd be extremely offended. This isn't just exclusive to big famous professionals either. Many of my fellow mod authors and even voice actors I work with feel the same way. These people just love making mods and voicing characters. They hardly ever ask for anything in return, just honest to God some of the best people I've gotten to know doing this. I wish I had the spare capital to pay these people for all the hard work they put into making these stories and characters, just because they enjoy voice acting and mod making. It's their art, and to rip it away from them because, I can just get an AI to sound like J.K. Simmons feels so wrong to me. I don't care if it's not perfect. That's not the charm of something you made yourself. It's got imperfections. It's not professionally done, but it's yours. You put your heart and soul into something, and you made it. Mod making is a grueling, awful process, but no art is easy. The statue of David wasn't sculpted by tapping a few keys. The Beatles didn't select an option from a drop-down menu. I know I sound like pretentious ass saying my stuff is art, but it is. Art is a creative outlet for your soul, and that's what my mods are to me. I want to flow my passion into a project and make something I can show up to my ma, and she'll put it up on the fridge. That's art. I don't intend on making something that should be put up in a museum. I intend on making something to say, that's mine. I put everything that is me into that, and I'm proud of it. And then not be happy with it for like 10 years and keep tinkering it because I'm fucking too critical of myself. The point of all this is me saying that art shouldn't be just instant gratification content. It takes a piece of you, it rips a piece of you out of yourself. And that piece is your art. And it takes just time and effort and passion. And just turning that all into a computer program doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it's just a little wrong. Wait, why the heck am I talking about? This is a video AI, okay? I got it. Gotta get it straight. AI. Not why I make mods. Gotta have it change the title, damn it. By the way, I'm not trying to say that people who use AI to improve their art are devaluing their work. I'm saying that without the involvement of the human soul or any form of actual passion, art does not exist in the end product. And as it stands, AI has neither soul nor passion. Anyways, the last part of this video, I want to show what voice actors that I have brought on to help me with my projects have to say on the topic. Maybe they'll be a little bit more coherent than my ramblings. First is Ben Django, who you may recognize from literally all of my mods, Fence Sheriff Department, Sims Elements 2, and many other mods. He said this: "I feel like I'm biased because I'm a VA, but in all honesty, I find AI to be good for memes, and that's about it. The last 4 presidents of the US playing COD Zombies? That's funny. Hank Hill sings Big Iron? That's funny. Watching animation based on that Batman AI script? That shit was hilarious. AI is fun to play with, but ultimately it will sound and look artificial. It's in the name, after all. What makes writing and voice work so enjoyable is the sheer amount of talent present in the industry and the modding community. Without them, there would be no basis for AI to begin with. It doesn't improve on what makes a story immersive or memorable. The novelty of it wears off once you attempt to bring any seriousness to it. AI and advanced technology in general was supposed to lessen man's burden from unnecessary labor so our talents in the arts and mind could grow. Now people are using it to cheapen the artistic process so that we can just get back to work. It's mindless, unneeded, and will always be lesser than actual people putting in actual talent for their art.
Yeehaw, this is my band impression because he's from Texas.
He brings up a good point. AI really only works for non-serious stuff. Like, if you're doing a fucking wacky, goofy mod, it's like random shit happens, which I guess AI is good at. For writing, I mean. I think, yeah, definitely AI voices could work for, just something silly. But if you want to tell a serious story, it's just not the place to use it. Next is Soldier Hobbs, the VA behind the Chief in Loaded Bases, and a new character coming up in Frozen Arms Chapter 2, depending on when I fucking upload this video. He's come to be one of my favorite VAs to hang out with. He even did a YouTube stream where he played through Loaded Bases, way under-leveled. I'll leave a link below, but it's a long one. Anyways, here's what he said. Well, if the AI is using the voice of someone, it's a good idea to ask them. I don't think most people would like the idea of someone using a device to impersonate their voice and say who knows what. That point goes beyond VA work. And for modding specifically, it'd just be like any other aspect of game development process getting replaced by AI. Pretty sure most people get a start in the game development space doing mods. Not just the programming, but all the other aspects like asset creation of VO, for example. People get started in most careers just doing grunt work, but if AI does that all, well, then how will people get started? The danger isn't the AI itself. Like any other technology, it can legitimately help with things, but the issue will always be the humans behind the tech. People are selfish by nature, and it has reared its ugly head without fail over the course of human history. I don't have an impression for him, but since the soldier and TF2 lore is from the Midwest, I think my normal Midwest accent just kind of works up, don't you know? Third is my good buddy Henry Martin. He voiced Hawk in All Americans and Buggy in Loaded Bases, as well as some other roles, but don't worry, he doesn't just do gritty antagonist. Here's what he had to say on the topic. I tend to ignore that stuff, so all I can really say is I don't understand the advantage of AI-generated voices for non-Soul Survivor characters. Soul Survivor characters are a whole other case. I don't implement lines, so perhaps there's part of the process I'm not privy to, but putting up the casting call, reviewing auditions, and working with the actor doesn't actually take that much time. And so long as your judgment is good, the product will always be better performance than an AI-generated one. I can't say AI would be a terrible idea for fodder characters or generic NPCs, but a lot of roles I've gotten, especially early on, were that range of importance. So AI does have the potential to severely limit new talent prospects. I understand VAs can be difficult to work with, or they flake, or get busy, or they suck, but none of that goes away by replacing them with a lesser, albeit more malleable, controllable alternative. We're creatives like the modders themselves, and we all have growing pains, and ways to improve. But we need to have worked in order to improve. To add my personal opinion at the end, I believe it's more fruitful to work with other people than to work with machines. We're social creatures, and community is good for the soul. This may not seem important to the modders rating or listening to this, but it's the most important thing I've said.
Henry does a really good ghoul voice, so this really hurts. He told me I need a big drink of water. Ooh.
My man is right though. We are social creatures. We do need that actual contact with each other. And it's not really that hard to get VAs. You can just go on casting call and put up a thing, and people will come by and be like, "Oh, I probably want to work on that project." It's like, that's how I met all these people. They're awesome. By the way, all these guys' casting calls will be linked in the description. I always credit my voice actors because I treasure them. They're the key to bringing a story to life, and without them, my mods will just be awful. As for some misc notes, my good buddies over at A Better World shoutout actually worked with Courtney Taylor in their day jobs, so they're actually sensitive about this whole AI business since they respect her. And I was too scared to ask my bosses at F4NVA to comment, but I know they're not all that gung-ho about AI voices and all that. And of course, these guys will be linked below as well. I know there's stuff I didn't touch on, like the huge writer strike going on right now that's partially because of AI, but I just wanted to touch on stuff that involves my sphere. I hope whoever watched this enjoyed my ramblings and has brought a bit more attention to how the modding community is handling this new technology. Let me know what you think down below. God damn, this is hard to fucking record. I've walked a mile in my voice actor shoes. Fucking huge respect to these guys. They are the best. They're just the best. Just please keep giving them jobs because I love doing this.